Welcome back to Dev Smart Dev. Today, I'm excited to show you a real-time to-do board web app built with Next.js, NestJS, MongoDB, and Socketio. This is a live demo version where you can create boards and tasks to each board and check off those tasks. Also, you're working on one device to real-time actions like check the tasks or new board or every doing with real-time. For example, I created a board that name is trading task 2. I open it. This is tasks on it. When I tick, this task also ticked. Uncheck. This is also unchecked. This works with Socketio real-time networking. Also, I can rename it, or I can create a new task. All actions do real-time. Okay, this is a live demo project. For example, I can create a new board real-timely or rename it real-time. Let's start the project. First, I cd to desktop path, make directory Todo Keep project, then cd to this folder, then create a new project. I type Todo Keep NextJS Project. Yes. Also yes. Enter. Then I'm waiting for the create NextJS project. The project created. I cd to project folder, and this project ready to run. I can run this project on localhost 3000. This is a new NextJS project. I close this terminal and open project by VS Code. Okay. This is NextJS project. I open the terminal, cd to project, then run the project. Okay. I remove the extra codes on the project, like dark theme, refresh. I remove this extra codes. Okay, this is a container of project. I write a h1 tag for write my boards Todo Keep project with class name text3xl font bold and MB6. Okay. Then I define a div MB6 flex gap tool with input I should write here use client. Okay, because I use state for this, should be write use client above of project. Placeholder new board title. I define some class flex1 p2 border rounded shadow sm. I define a button. I should define the function for call this button handle create board unclick function name. I define some class name bgblue. bgblue 50, bgblue 500, text byte, px 4, py2 rounded, hover bg blue 16 transition. Okay, that button name is create. Okay, for printing the code I use format document. Okay, I'd find a below of container div I write it some comment for this section for clean code. I'd find some class name for container of this lg p4 bg white shadow hover shadow md transition relative group. Okay, div space y2 input text class name w full and padding border and rounded autofocus. Also, I define a state for this input. Set editing title, editing title. I define a value for this. Then I change unchange for event, set editing title, e dot target dot value. And I define a div for this, flex gap 2, and button for save and for cancel. Class name BG green, text white, px3, py1, rounded, then text sm is small size. I also copied these class names for this button with bg gray 300. Okay. Bg green 300. I should define a class name here for grid system. Grid calls 1, sm grid calls 2, md grid calls 3, and gap between 4. Okay. Margin top. Okay, that's cool. This has two model state. One of that is for typing something for define board, and one of that for show only the board. Also, I should be define a new state for that, like is showing it's better to I type is editing board, set is editing board, use state false by default. I write a condition for this. I define a if like this. If true, run this section. Okay. I should be define a tag to refuse to use two children because occur an error. To refuse that error, I define tag for start and end of this section to solve this error. If true, run this. If false, run this. For false section, I define some codes like div class name, for this section I define some codes with link href hyperlink reference to codes class name font medium block mb2 and this is board title. Then defines div class name flex justify between justify between margin tab 2. Then define a button for edit and delete. This state is for click on board and this state is for editing. Okay. Edit, delete, class name text sm, text blue 500, hover, underline. For delete, I write red color. For onClick, I write set editing ID. For example 1, set editing title. Set editing title. Okay. I also define a new function for delete. Delete board. I implement this function after write the backend of project. Also, I don't write for these functions. I don't write any code for this function. I will write these codes after write backend. I also define function for this, handle delete board. Now, when I change this state, this is edit mode. Also, this is only show board mode for list. Okay, this is responsive. I solve this responsive by grid system in here. Okay. I also I write code of task list, boards, and write slug for that. This is slug. And I should be write page.tsx for this file. Then I copy this, then remove some extra codes. Okay. I want to install MUI library. Okay. Material UI. Get started. Installation section. Then I do this instructor for install MUI packages. I copy that. Then using project, I used PNPM for this project. Also, I changed this to PNPM. Then I'm waiting for install these packages. Okay, the package is installed. For write this page, I go to this route boards slug. Also, I write this boards slug. Okay. I rename this function to board page. Okay. I use for this container from MUI box display flags justify content space between align items center MB3. Then I write a typography variant. It's 5 font weight, bold. Okay. Title of bold. I write a button for add task with variant content. On click, const add task equal, okay, add task. Add task for title of button. Okay. Define a list box list item disable padding secondary action action equal null. Okay. I define a checkbox in here with ads start checked event. Checked event, checked boolean something. Okay. I complete this after write backend for project on change. I define a function. I should be define a state for this. Toggle complete, toggle set, toggle complete. Okay, use state. For example, false for default. Toggle complete. Okay. Set. Toggle complete. For unchanged, I define a function toggle complete. Toggle complete. Okay. Define a text field for this. I run again this project. Okay. Text field with value editing title. For unchanged, I define set editing title pass e dot, I define event in here, e dot target dot value. Define a single quotation by default to solve this error. On blur, on down event, I need this to event. The size is small, full width, autofocus. I also define update task title. Update task title and set editing task. ID. Okay, for key down, I need a update task title and also set editing task ID. I set null for this. I use null for default value. I restrict type for string or null. This is string. This is string and null type. Also define null by default. Okay. Also, this has two types of state. One of type for show the list by checked, and one of that for unchecked list. This section has two states, one of that for editing and one of that for only showing. Okay. Also, I write this for other type of state. I write temporary this state for show this, state of show task. One state is for editing. Is editing. Set is editing. Okay. This type is Boolean. False is editing for this section. Okay. I move this in here, the format document. Okay. For false section, I define a list item text. Okay. Primary. Okay. SX. Text decoration. No. Cursor pointer. Okay. On click. Set editing. Task ID. And set editing title. Okay, that's good. I should be move this code to here to fix this responsive problem. Okay. Now we start the backend project with NestJS. This is a stack of our project: NextJS, NestJS, MongoDB, Socketio. Okay. Documentation. First step, I installed globally NestJS. Then I can create a new project. Todo Keep API. I'm using npm package manager. I'm waiting for create project. The project created successfully. First at all, I install some packages. I cd to Todo Keep API, clear this. Then I must be install these packages. I'm waiting for install packages. Okay. Let's create some files for this backend project. I create a readme file for this. Okay, readme dash. Okay, I enter this command for create some files. Okay, then this command, then enter this command, and this command. Okay, I run this project. Before I start this project, I want to change port of NextJS project because the run it port on NestJS project is 3000 port, okay, and also NextJS port is 3000, and this is make conflict between that. Uh, Also, we can change port of NextJS project. Dash port 400. Okay, that's good. We can run same time NestJS project together with NextJS project. Okay. I occur some error with this project. I check the package JSON to install socket or not. pnpm I @NestJS slash platform socket.io. Install UUID WS package for WebSocket. Okay, check again. pnpm run start. Okay, socket. Also, we should be install NestJS WebSockets package. I'm waiting for install, then run again to test project. Okay, that's good. If I run with start dev, this project will run again when I change any coding. For example, if I some change on code, this run again the project. If I use this command, start dev. Okay, that's good. First of all, we should be config MongoDB database. First of all, we should config the MongoDB database. Okay. I go to app module file and clear this code to write code easily. Mongo's module, I must be create Mongo's module. I must be write Mongo's module. Mongo's module. We should be install also this package NestJS Mongo's. I'm waiting for install this package. Okay, run again. Mongo's module. Okay. Dot for root. MongoDB / localhost. Todo Keep API v2. Okay. I open the Mongo Compass software. I connect the localhost. Then I create a database that named Todo Keep API v2. Okay. That's good. I don't need this. This database will create automatically in MongoDB Compass when insert some document. Okay. I also create a event gateway in event gateway.ts file for manage Socketio connections. Okay, web socket gateway export class events gateway. Okay, web socket server handle connection. This function is for when Socketio initialized and connected with client. This function will call when client connected successfully. Handle disconnect client socket. Okay. I write console log to log something to check out this WebSocket gateway, initialize it. That's good. Also write console log for this. Client disconnected. I can write client ID for this to see what client disconnected. Okay. Write client ID for this too. Oh, this is incorrect, sorry. Import from Socketio, don't exit. I install Socketio. Socketio. Platform Socketio. This is correct. I try again. Socket import socket from Socketio. That works. Okay. I can check this socket by Postman. Okay, this is Postman for test the APIs or Socketio. I created a Socketio connection for the test this. The URLs start with ws//localhost with 3000 port. I connect. I should be run project. Good. That's good. I test again. I should be define this in app module to work this. Test again. We also need event emitter package to receive emitted events. I also define this to event for event. Okay, then run again. Also define socket gateway here. That's good. I need a Socketio adapter for project. Socketio adapter. I write these codes for this file. Also, app.enable course for fix course origin error problem. We can write enable course code origin. I allow backend for this frontend project URL creationals credentials, false, okay, app.set app.set global prefix API for all routes, app.use WebSocket adapter, new Socketio adapter, app, okay. I use Socketio server for this. Event gateway. Use event gateway in here. Event gateway. That's good. Test the socket. Event gateway. Name events.gateway. Events.gateway. Okay. Test again. That's good. The socket works successfully. Okay. Let's write board codes. I define some schema for board document in MongoDB. Schema export class board @prop title field in JSON @prop type string array task IDs string array okay export type board document equals board and document okay schema class board schema that's good. Also I write a schema for tasks. Task title content completed volume and board ID to make one-to-many relation between board and tasks. Board ID is string. Okay. Export type task document task and document export const task schema equals schema factory dot create for class task. Okay. Task. That's good. Let's write board services. Board service. I define a constructor, inject model board.name private board model model okay, board document and task name task model. Okay, and also define private event emitter 2. Okay, that's right. Async function get board with tasks. This defines a one-to-many relation between board and tasks and return the board with tasks on it. Board ID string. This get a board ID and get tasks by board with one-to relation. Board equals await. Await will waiting to do this task, then run next lines of code. Because I'm using async function, find by ID, board ID dot execute. If not board, throw return error, new not found exception. A custom message for that I define board not found. Okay, const tasks equal await this task model dot find. I can find by board ID, then execute it. Execute. Okay. Then I can return result of that dot board to object. Then write tasks. Okay. I create this codes. Okay. Also define find all function. Return this board model dot find. Execute. Okay. I also create function. I define create function for that. DTO create board. I should be create a DTO for this. Create board.dto.ts export class create board DTO title string. Okay, board DTO. Create board DTO const created equal await this dot board model dot create that DTO. That's good. I also can use to emit Socketio to broadcast this event to all clients for real-time connection. Event emitter.emit with this keyword board.new created. I pass this created for socket, then return created. Okay. Also, I write function for update. I get ID and title as argument of function for update. Const updated equal await this board model dot find by ID and update ID title new true dot executed this event emitter for emit something board update. I use this for update board to broadcast all clients to be real-time in update actions. Return updated for this function. Okay. I also write delete function for this to delete board. Okay. Wait. This board model find by ID and delete. I can delete board by ID, execute it. Then I can delete all task model by use delete many function to delete all of board with the same ID for board. To delete all tasks, I use a board ID to delete related tasks. Okay. Delete many board ID. Okay, execute it. Also, I can emit this event to Socketio to all client of socket. Okay, for delete for key by ID. Delete by ID. This emit ID of deleted board to all client by Socketio. Okay, that's good. We can use these functions to controller. I also write controller codes for you. I define a constructor private read only port service. Okay, I define a get method for find all function. I can use service codes for this. This dot board service get board with tasks. Also, I can pass I use find one for this and get ID from Slack. Okay, this is correct. Param ID, I get this param from client. Then I can use in here. I also define other function for find all. Return this board service find all to return all records of boards. Also, I can use post to save something. Use create for this, add sign body, because I use post for this. Okay, body DTO, create board DTO. Okay, return this dot board service dot create this DTO. This more should be used accurate. That's good. Also, I define a function for update data on board. Then we can use put method for this. This method works with ID. I get ID from client to update what record of board in MongoDB document. From ID, then ID with type string. Also body title for get title from client. I use param because I get ID in URL path like this. Okay, but I use for title body because I will send title in body of request. Also, we can use body for that. Okay. Return this board service update ID title. Also, I define delete with delete method. I get ID from param. Then I can use delete function in service. I use this delete function in services. Okay. I can test this project. I take this error part of import module. For solve this error, we should be send something codes on board.module.ts file. Okay, I define import in this section with array of some codes like mongo's module for feature name board dot name schema board schema, and also define name task dot name schema task schema. That's good. Imports mongo's module name board. I also should be import this schema I import task. I define array here. Board schema task schema board schema board schema. src board task schema. I should be defined this. I forgot it. Okay. No, I can't test this API. I checked the MongoDB database. That's good. Now I can test it. This is empty. I add some data on this. Board title. Added a board successfully. Then I check this return value. That's good. Also, I check to can be edited or not. Let's to copy this ID in here. Then I can test update or not. Okay, let's check it. That's good. That's works successfully. Then I can test delete board for this section. Delete. Okay, let's request API board. Delete it successfully. That's right. Delete, return. I can write the board deleted successfully. Oh, okay. Now I let's do test Socketio for this. I create a new board. Board new. This Socketio not works because we don't define any event in this file. One by one will be I define some events in this file by key. Okay? Handle disconnect. @ subscribe. @ event on event board.new handle board new @ message body data any void return nothing. Server emit this data by board new key by data. Okay. Then I also define for board update that's good. I define for delete handle board delete That's good. Let's start it. Post data. That's amazing. I received some event. Okay. I config something here for receive this event. I only open this event, listen it, check out again, disconnect, connect. Okay. I add new board. I can receive that event very easily. Okay. I also define board update, board delete, listen it. Okay, let's check it. Update, update with this ID, update by this ID. Okay. Receive very easily. That's wonderful. I also delete this to test them. That's amazing. I receive it. Okay. Let's do write backend of tasks. I start to write task backend. Let's start from task service. Constructor @ inject model task.name private task model task document private event emitter for Socketio. I will use it for Socketio together. Event emitter 2. Okay. We also should we define something in task module. Import Mongo module for feature. Okay, that's good. Import start and the error fixed. Name task dot name schema task schema. That's right. Okay. Private task model private emitter. Okay. Async find 1 get ID return this task model but find by ID dot executed async create DTO create task DTO should we create DTO for this? Create task DTO. Create task DTO.ts. That's right. Export class create task DTO with fields like title and word ID for make relation between them. That's right. Create task DTO. Okay. Const created equals await this dot task model dot create DTO. That's right. This event emitter emit task new created. This emit by Socketio this data by this keyword. Then all the client will receive this data by event real time. Okay. Return created. Async update ID string. Then data partial title string completed boolean. The server will receive two parameters, title and completed, for check or uncheck for tasks. We'll use completed for this purpose. Const updated await this task model find by ID and update ID data new true executed this when emitter emit task update. That's good. Updated, I pass update for this. Then return them. Updated. Return this updated. That's right. Async delete ID string wait this task model dot find by ID and delete find by ID, then execute. Okay, this emit event emitter emit task dot delete. I pass ID for this. Okay, this file completed. I also can use service in task controller. Okay, let's start it. Constructor private read only task service. Okay, that's right. I can define a get by get this parameter ID find by ID. I can define function like find one. This is a standard name for this purpose. Param ID for get ID from client with type string. Then I can return some data. This task service dot find one ID. That's good. Then I define other function with post method. That's wonderful. Create @body detail create task detail. Return this task service dot create. Then pass detail for this. That's right. I will import this. Okay. Then write other function for edit by ID. I define function name update with get param ID. Okay, ID string with type string. Then I can get data on body of request by body title string and completed by boolean type. That's right. Return this task service update ID body. Okay. Also define other function for delete. That's good. Delete function for this with delete method. Param ID ID is string type. Return data test service dot delete ID. That's right. Okay, let's go to write events code for task. Okay, I copied this for task. Okay, task. Okay. I write const port ID dot task equal data. Okay, task underline doc. Okay, update. I use ID for this. ID. That's right. Okay, let's test it. I test by create. First of all, I get data, tasks. Okay, test it, post. The board ID is this, for example. I write board ID here, then test it. That's right, works. Then I can test it. API tasks. I can test by this ID. Okay, let's check it to solve this problem. Task controller ID param ID. Find one. Oh. This is because when I enter this ID, will be works, but I want to test it here by board ID. That's right. This is my board with tasks on it. That's wonderful. Okay, I can add one of them. Then you can see other of task with this board. Yeah, easily. Okay. I add task. Also, we can test it here. Update. New. Okay, let's test it. That's wonderful. I can see this. Also, the Socketio works successfully. Amazing. Okay, let's use this to NextJS Project. Okay, I go to NextJS Project, run it again. I also can check data on Let's to define a type for this to fix that problem. Use state any with array mode. Initialize the array on it. Okay, the error fixed. I also write use effect for delete event. Also add use effect for create board. Also, I define this function for edit board. This need to define a state. Okay, that's right. I also define a function for handle delete board. Okay, this repeated. Okay, I defined handle created board. Handle created board. Well, this code for handle create handle create board. Okay. We will change some code in this section to connect the boards to state. Okay. I write boards.length if greater than 0, run this section. In the other hand, run. I write boards.map to run a loop to show boards with this loop. I use map. I write board here. Okay. Then I move this section of codes into boards map. Okay. I format codes. Okay. Let's do a set title for board from the data that received from server. Okay. Define board title here. Board.title. That's right. I change codes to connect to these functions. I need to define this state, the top of project. Okay. Editing title, set editing title. Okay, that's right. Also, we need change on this code. Okay. Also, I fixed this. Okay. Edit, cancel, edit. delete. Let's check. Okay, delete. I refresh to test socket works or not. That not works for Socketio. Test create board, new board. That's requested, but the Socketio also not working. I check the error. For fix this Socketio problem, please add this in use effect. Then also we added this module. This is extra. I deleted. Okay, the project works. I test the project for you. This is real time. New board. Create. I edit this also in this edited. I delete this deleted with Socketio. If you see here, okay, I add new board. The socket send this data. Okay. Also, this receive this data. I check for you to test it. Okay. To this send it and this receive it. To send, receive. Yeah. Okay, this is wonderful. Also, we can check board detail. For this, I fix this URL boards ID board dot ID. Okay, let's check it. Let's connect this to server. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. First of all, I use this for mounted. Okay. I write other use effect for load board. I define some state for this. Base URL. Set tasks state. Okay. I write interface for task. Okay, board ID. I received that board ID from params of Slack. It's received the ID from URL from this section. Yeah. Then I define a new use effect for Socketio. This handles Socketio connection for new task or update task. Okay. I also add a new function for add task. Yeah. I replace it with this function. Okay. I also have toggle complete function and update task title function. Update task. Update task. I will add it. Okay. Update task. I replace it. Okay, let's do something on it. This function is for update title of task. After the update task, this Socketio send event by task update keyword send this data to Socketio server. Then this function is for check or uncheck the tasks. After the check or uncheck, the Socketio send event on task update keyword. Okay. Let's change something on view to work the project. I write these codes to handle loading project. Okay. The checkbox for task. I also write a map for list the tasks. Okay. Then I define the G for box. Also write this for divider. I write a condition for this. To handle edit the task, I write this. I change to this event calls to connect the functions correctly. I fix this. I initialize by default the empty double quotations. Okay. Also, I have some things on this code. Okay. I format these codes. Okay. Let's take them. Check out this. Okay. This is real time. That's good. I also can add task. Also can edit it. I refresh. Yeah, that's saved. Okay. We can write empty 3 to fix this margin. That's wonderful. Okay. If I delete this, the task on it deleted. Yeah, this is our project. Also, we can check data on database. It's successful. This is our demo project of To-Do project. This is demo project, a real-time project for to-do list to practice your programming challenges. To learn more about Socketio and NestJS framework by MongoDB. This is the best technologies for the market. Be success.